Welcome to Meet Your Oscar Nominees. I'm Tiffany Taylor for The Hollywood Reporter, and I'm here with Benji Pasek and Justin Paul, and they are nominated for Best Original Song for This Is Me from The Greatest Showman. Congratulations.
Thank you, Tiffany Taylor.
Thanks for having us.
That's a pretty great name, Tiffany Taylor.
Thank you guys.
Very alliterative.
You guys have the alliteration going on too.
Oh,
Trying
our
to
last names,
just trying to rock it together.
It's a fun thing to
We'll
do.
join it. We'll have a band together.
Exactly. Oh, I'm down for that. I love you guys, and I'm a huge fan of Dear Evan Hansen, and I
Thank you.
loved The Greatest Showman.
Thank
So
you.
talk to me about how you got involved in this project.
This has been a project that we have been working on, I guess, for a really long time.
it was really the first thing that we ever got involved with in film at all.
We came out to LA actually to work on Dear Evan Hansen, and while we were here, we had a chance meeting, our first meeting at a big Hollywood studio, and they said, we're working on this musical. Let me see if the guy who's working on it is, down the hall is in that day. So we went down the hall. He happened to be in. He was like, let me see if the director is like in town that day. And the director happened to be in LA that day, and it just kind of went on from there. And we got to audition for Michael Gracie.
And we kept sort of auditioning. The sort of funny thing is that we never actually became the songwriters of the movie. Every song was an audition basically. So they'd say, here's a slot for a song and give us what you got and we'll let you know basically. And so we'd write something and then they'd say, cool, here's another song moment. So it was like sort of a competition the whole time, weirdly, but we developed a really great collaboration with Michael Gracie, the director, and he was sort of rooting in our corner and helping us.
Well, and he definitely had some Barnum-esque sort of qualities about himself when he was pitching us, because we didn't have any film credits, and the biggest credit that we had at that time was we had written A Christmas Story, which had been in New York for only 7 weeks, and the studio execs would be like, who are these guys that you're trying to pitch? And
they wanted like big famous writers and stuff.
And he'd be like, oh, no, they won a Tony Award for James and the Giant Peach on Broadway, which, we wrote a James and the Giant Peach, which had been at Seattle Children's Theater and had never been on Broadway.
We certainly didn't win a Tony
definitely didn't win a
Award.
Tony. So he was doing his little Barnum thing. And, in L.A., I think they didn't look as closely to what they would do in New York. They're like, great, they won a Tony for James and the Giant Peach. We'll listen to their songs. So it worked out in the end.
And now you have won a Tony, so it did all work out.
Yes.
When you were writing the music, did you know who would be singing the parts and playing the roles?
Not everything, but the first couple of songs that we wrote were for the Barnum character, and from the beginning, Hugh Jackman was attached to do that. So obviously that was a dream come true for us, being movie musical fans and being Broadway guys, and that's the world that we come from. Hugh is like the song and dance man of our time. And so we started writing things with his voice in mind, and that's a really cool thing to get to do, to know his strengths and what he really excels at, and to be able to then cater those songs to someone like him. Of course, it was terrifying the first time that we had to meet him and actually, we felt great about the songs until he came to actually sing them, and then we're like, what are we doing? Why? And it was just us and him in a room, and we're like, are we supposed to give him notes? Do we teach him? How does this work? So we were freaking out.
When you received this nomination, how did you feel? Because you actually won this award last year for City of Stars from La La Land. So what did it feel like to receive this nomination after that crazy ride?
It was really, really thrilling. This was a song that we were really passionate about creating, and that this process for this film, we started working on it a year and a half before La La Land was even something that
on our radar,
that we were a part of. So especially This Is Me, and getting that collaboration with Keala Settle, who is an incredible Broadway actress who, we didn't know if she, when we were doing the workshops of this, if she would get to be a part of the film if it were ever made, if we would get to be a part of the film if it were ever made. So it really, this felt like the culmination of many, many years against a lot of odds, and we can't believe that the film exists in the world, and that Keala gets to sing the song, and that she's going to perform on the Oscar stage. That is so cool to us and so mind-blowing, and it feels to us like a theater nerd win in the biggest way possible.
What can you tell us about that Oscar moment? What can we as fans expect?
Oh, we're just beginning to talk about it.
It's also kind of forming right now. I think the good thing is, what's exciting is where we're coming from on it, and where the folks at the Academy and the Oscar show are coming from on it. Everybody is really excited about how do we capture the message of the song, and in a way that takes what it is in the movie and then brings it beyond that. So I think the idea is to make something that feels really universal and feels like a lot of people from all walks of life can identify with it and make it their own. So we're figuring out how to manifest that on stage exactly, but one thing I can tell you is that Kayla Settle is a Broadway performer who sings 8 times a week on Broadway, so she will deliver a live performance like nobody else.
Every time we see her, she's like, guys, I have one goal for the Oscars. And we're like, what is it? She's like, I just want to melt Meryl Streep's face off. We're like, all right, Kayla, calm down. But, we'll see. We'll see if she's successful, because she's going to go for it.
That's awesome. Well, This Is Me is such an empowering song. So what has it been like to see the positive fan reaction to the song and just the positive fan reaction to The Greatest Showman overall?
It's been really amazing. This Is Me. When you're a songwriter, I guess your goal, I think, is to become as invisible as possible in the process and let the words and the music really pour through Kayala's soul, and it becomes about her and that character in that moment. And what's been so amazing for us and for Kayala is that now so many other people are making the song,
owning it,
their own. And it's a message and a song that's personal to us and personal to me, personal to Kayala, in the sense that, anyone who's ever sort of felt like they weren't good enough, or they were not lovable, or they felt like they were broken, or they felt like they didn't deserve to be loved. It's a song that really is about declaring that you are lovable not despite your flaws, but because of your flaws. And to see so many people embracing that message and owning that for themselves has been really, really beautiful and emotional. And you do a little search on YouTube, where we get these videos that people send us.
People are sending them, posting them. Kayala is like maybe the most generous about it. She reposts so many people's performances, and what's cool about that is it's not her. You know what I mean? She's doing the same thing of getting out of the way and just sort of letting the song and the music and the lyrics sort of speak to people, and they can claim it the way they want to claim it and use it the way they want to use it. And so check out her Instagram. It's
cool.
Or her Twitter, whatever. It's just great performances and such interesting, unique covers of the music.
Yeah, and I think also when you create a song, or she sings a song that you feel like is personal to you, you're not sure if there are other people that will identify with it. And this is a song about feeling a little bit ugly, or broken, as we said, broken, and you sometimes feel like you're very alone in that feeling. And when you shine a little bit of a light on it, it's very scary to put yourself out there. I think for her as a performer, there's another video on YouTube of the first time that she ever performed the song live, and she was so nervous to do it. And taking that risk and sort of showing the sort of ugly parts of you and the vulnerable parts of you, it I think allows other people to realize that the things that they're scared of showing, they don't have to be alone in that. And you're shining a little bit of light in a very dark place, and you're realizing that so many other people are huddled there too. And there's the sense of that you don't have to be alone in feeling like you might not fit in with the world, and that there's a community of people that can identify with that feeling, and bringing people who feel that way together is, I don't know, really, really overwhelmingly positive and exciting thing to witness.
That feeling of you are not alone that you're speaking to, that's what Dear Evan Hansen, your musical, is so much about. And I feel like that's why that musical is so inspiring, and the music of it is so wonderful, because you listen to it and it's so relatable and uplifting. So why do you guys think that might be a theme throughout the music you've written for these different shows?
Oh, what are you saying about us?
No, I mean, just trying to give ourselves. It's like
a pep talk, I guess.
It's
I don't
therapy.
know.
It's just giving ourselves catharsis constantly. No, I don't know. I mean, I think that we are definitely attracted to stories of redemption, stories of hope and optimism in the face of odds, stories of second chances. I think that's, and maybe it's a little bit corny, but I think it's the way that we view the world, or at least the way we want to view the world, or we hope that the world is. And, we're can be at times as cynical as anybody out there, but we're sort of living in a pretty cynical time, I think, and so and a dark and sort of treacherous time as well. And so I think in those moments we're really attracted to stories that uplift, and moments where we can write music that uplifts, or that even if it goes to a dark place, ultimately brings us back up and sort of out of the darkness or out of the shadows.
Well, that's why I think people love The Greatest Showman and your musical so much, because you leave The Greatest Showman and you can't help but feel good. Like, you walk out and you want to sing and dance. I went home and, listened to the music in my apartment and was singing and dancing around, because it just makes you feel good, and people want to feel good.
I mean, we were working on Dear Evan Hansen and The Greatest Showman sort of on parallel tracks at the same time, and Dear Evan Hansen obviously goes to a little bit darker place and a little bit more of a psychological subject matter. And so it was, for us, it was sort of our refuge to then sort of take a moment to pause on Dear Evan Hansen and then go to work on Greatest Showman, where it was like, this is so fun, this is joyous. Like, it was, we'd sort of be in the mire of what Evan is going through in that story, and then pause and then go work on something for, that Hugh Jackman was going to sing and dance to. It was a nice balance in during that period of writing.
Yeah, and sometimes this celebration of optimism or being hopeful is not necessarily cool. And I think that's been a process for us too. Of like, you know what? It doesn't matter if it's cool or it's not cool. Like it feels like, there's hope in the world, and we all need a little bit of that. And music has an amazing ability to pierce through cynicism and get to the emotional heart of human beings. And so to get to write songs that are about a celebration of that kind of optimism and hope and joy and wonder,
that don't have a wink to them. Or
and that doesn't have to be ironic, but that says that that the world can be a beautiful place, and that there's a reason to be optimistic about what tomorrow can be. I'm all in for that, even if it's like a decidedly uncool thing to say out loud.
That's awesome. It's cool to be uncool.
Yeah, I guess, but I think that we're like past that. It's like
we're back to uncool.
Yeah, the many iterations of it. Yeah.
Well, with the song "This Is Me," it's so empowering and uplifting, as we've said. So it's a song for all these commercials for the NBC Winter Olympics. How did that come about, and what was your reaction when you found out it was going to be placed there?
I think we were both like, this is the closest that we've ever come to being in sports.
Sports,
we're very excited about that turn.
Yeah, my dad can be proud of me again. No, but I mean that it's sort of like. I think that, I don't know, to us, it's maybe, aside from the way that Kayala does it in the film and being proud of that, it's like probably the coolest thing that we could imagine, that would be used to represent sort of what the Olympics stand for, and stories of, we just can't help but feel inspired as you're watching the song cut against all these Olympians who were fighting against the odds and triumphing. It's a really, really cool thing, and probably the coolest thing for us is to look back at that video of Kayala performing it in a rehearsal room, in a dingy rehearsal room in New York City for the first time, not knowing what she was becoming in that moment, and then cut to her voice is being used, to promote the Olympics around the world. And that's a really cool journey for her.
Is there a scene from The Greatest Showman that particularly stands out as exceeding your expectations?
Oh, man. Well, I have to say, beyond This Is Me and Kayala, I think we were really excited to work with both Zac Efron and Zendaya, and they have such an amazing chemistry together. And the song "Rewrite the Stars," we really thought the way that Michael conceived it's this push and this pull of these people who are not allowed to be together, and it's a song about deciding who you're going to love ultimately, and not letting the world tell you who you're allowed to love. And I think they capture that in the way that they sing it, and capture that in the way that it's choreographed, and it's a really fun number to have been a part of.
And do you have a favorite song from the movie?
They're all our little babies.
Oh.
They're all our little children. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I love both of those songs, This Is Me and Rewrite the Stars. So now we're going to do some Oscar questions, because this is Meet Your Oscar nominees. So what was the first movie that ever inspired you?
Okay, so the first movie I ever saw in a movie theater in 1989 was The Little Mermaid. And it was the first movie I ever saw, and also the first subsequent, musical I ever saw. And I think, we've talked about this a lot, but those Howard Ashman, Alan Menken movies during the Disney Renaissance, I think paved the way. The reason that people are like, why is the musical back? Like, well, everyone who's our age and our generation, we grew up loving characters expressing themselves through song, whether that be Aladdin or Ariel or Belle.
I know for me, I don't remember what the timing was. I was super obsessed with An American Tail. Like, all of the, like, there were no cats in America. I think for us it was like crazy, because movies and music were just synonymous.
Right.
As we were growing up, there was no separation of that's a musical and that's a movie. It's a regular movie. That's not a musical. They were just movies, and it was just cinema to us. So that really inspired us, I think, and led us to do what we're doing today.
If Jimmy Kimmel were to crack a joke about me, he would say. Answer that
you
question.
or us?
You.
Oh man.
I mean,
I think it's
there's
too
an
easy.
Obvious, yeah.
It's too easy.
It's too easy.
We'll let you guys figure out what that would
might
be.
have to do with something that happened last year. We were on stage when it happened.
Oh.
It's low hanging fruit. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we won't talk about that. We'll forget that ever happened and move forward. And the night would be incomplete, or the night would be incomplete unless blank happens.
Unless
we
get to
Sufjan Stevens.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
I don't know.
I was gonna say something very corny, but I like that. Well, I was gonna say just getting to remembering to take in these moments and getting to share with the people that you love. I mean, this is like
that's good too.
It's true. It's like
I
you're in this room with all these people that are such heroes and people who are shaping the things that you love and people who are that you respect so much, and that you get to bring the other people in your life who actually help make it happen.
I think watching it through our family's eyes and our loved ones' eyes is, I mean, look, we're blown away ourselves, but to see the wonder that they have as they're experiencing it, it's nice because it sort of takes the pressure and the spotlight and everything off of us, and I'm just like, it's like watching something through your kids' eyes or something like that. It's like you really appreciate it because they're just in awe and in wonder, and they're the ones who honestly deserve to be celebrated too, because there are people in both of our lives who we wouldn't be getting to go to the Oscars if they hadn't supported us, if they hadn't encouraged us, if they hadn't told us we could chase our dreams, if they hadn't supported those all along the way.
And last one, the nominee I'd like to dance with at the after parties is...
Oh my God. The first person that came into my mind was
Willem
Octavia
Dafoe.
Spencer.
That's a good one.
Mine was Willem Dafoe, because I'm like, I think it would just be hilarious to be just getting down with Willem. Like, what's that like?
Yeah.
What's his dancing? What's his club vibe?
I bet Sally Hawkins can get crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know, who's yours?
Oh gosh, I don't get to go to the Oscars.
But if you had to
you were
dance
in
with
this year, maybe like Timothy Chalamet.
I knew you were gonna say
Yeah.
that. I looked in her eyes.
Saoirse's gonna have a cool vibe going on.
But I looked in her eyes and I knew she was gonna be like Timothy Chalamet. Yeah, we get it.
If you could be in the little inner circle with Timothy Chalamet and Saoirse, just like dancing, just like cool.
Wait.
All the cool kids.
I'll tell you. So at the Oscars luncheon, I got to meet Kobe Bryant, and I'm from Philadelphia, and that was the coolest moment of my life. So I feel like I would wanna boogie with Kobe.
That'd be awesome.
Another sports moment. I'm so masculine.
We're very entrenched in sports now. So yeah.
And just a couple more questions for you guys. So there's been rumors that The Greatest Showman could go to Broadway. Can you tell us anything about that?
I
don't think so,
we actually don't know anything about this. So
no, I mean, I think that probably I think it's really likely that something will happen with that property, that there will be some sort of live something that we'll find a way to get it on a stage or a something of some kind. But we might think that we're in charge of that, but we're not really in charge of that. So
it's a little bit above our pay grade.
Yeah, it's above our pay grade. So we'll probably get an email that says, "Here's what you're doing," and we say, "Oh, okay. Well, let's discuss it." No, we would hope to. I mean, honestly, we don't know what's going to happen, but I hope that people get to when we look back at those workshop videos and look at Kayala and look at Hugh and the way that they perform in the room and the way that it feels, the way it felt to us, we hope that there's some sort of vehicle for them to perform those songs live.
And that people get to sing along with it.
Yeah,
There have been all these
sing-alongs,
which I feel like just creating a communal environment where people feel free to be a part of something.
Engage with it, yeah.
That's really cool. So we're down for whatever that might be.
Yeah.
And finally, what's next for you guys?
Ooh, well, we got actually the amazing opportunity to collaborate with Alan Menken for the live-action Aladdin that's going to come out next year. So we wrote a couple of songs with him, and that was an unbelievable experience because, as we were just saying, that's why we do what we do.
It's a heavy hero worship kind of situation.
It was very, very awkward for many, many weeks.
I feel like we just asked him questions for weeks and weeks and weeks, and he's like, "Guys, we should write a song."
actually work.
We're like, yeah, but when you were doing this, so it was that was really cool, and we got to write a couple new songs and look at some extended versions of old songs and stuff. So Guy Ritchie's directed that movie, and I think they just wrapped, so that'll be out. I think maybe it's Memorial Day of 19 or something, but it's exciting.
It's a childhood dream come true.
A full circle moment.
It really, really is.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for talking to me, and good luck at the Oscars.
Thank you so much. Thanks.